All right, well, we'll wait for Leaf to get, or we'll assume Leaf is gonna pop back in when he can. Anyway, Leaf has taken care of the newsletter article for May, once it comes out. And Ray, how are you doing on the blacksmith article?
Getting there.
Okay.
Somebody told me I had to have until June or July.
Well, until June anyway. I think
Yeah.
the date is going to be sometime after May 20th. So you got.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm probably about half done.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And you got that information about the Van Wee family that I sent you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Do.
Okay. Great. So now Gil sent me some things that came out of our discussion about Academy Cemetery. Gil found in his files some write-ups about certain people buried at Academy Cemetery. And it was left over from a program, maybe 2005 or something, that was, I believe, maybe the Historical Society put it on, and there were people stationed in the cemetery dressed up in,
Yes.
old time costumes and I don't want to say impersonating, what's the right, portraying some of the individuals who are buried there. So I've got one hard copy of it, and I think Leaf offered to write something about the Academy tract. So I will send those to him, and if anybody else would like them, would you guys like them, Richard and Donna?
It'd be interesting to have when we go over there to.
See if you can find them. Yeah.
I gave still a single about that thick stuff on cemetery, or the cemetery at Academy. I gave him a copy, Leaf. Oh, there he is.
Oh.
So he's probably not had a time to read all through it because it was quite thick.
Oh, there he is. Okay. There you are.
And just
Yeah, Leaf, I'm going to send you some materials about the Academy Cemetery. So if you want to, if you want to follow up on the article about the cemetery, this is some biographical information about a few of the people who are buried there.
Sure.
Not sure quite where
I'd
it
like
came
to
from.
work with Richard or with somebody who's been working on it, because, obviously there are all of you who have more personal experience and knowledge of that Academy Cemetery than I do. So
Well, Ray probably is the one
let's
that has
skin
the
that
most.
cat however best, So let me back up because I didn't quite get everything, coming in late here.
Right.
So you want to do an article on that cemetery? Is that right,
What-
Sarah Linda?
Yeah, we talked about that at the last meeting, and I think you volunteered to do it, although if you want to,
On the Arsenal one.
on the,
I
oh,
volunteered
okay.
on the Arsenal one, then we decided to cancel the Arsenal one.
Right, because that had already been done. Okay, so the Academy one is just one that we'll sort of keep on the back burner for a future time when we're looking for a subject. So the other one we talked about was German Brothers. And Nancy volunteered to look into that. So do you think July would make sense for that, Nancy?
My sense is no, because when I went and approached them, they said, no, we have no time in the spring to sit down with anybody because they are very, very busy. But I should be able to sit down with Peter German soon, but I don't know what he has. I'm in my own research, I have found very little. So I'm relying on what he has. So let's.
All right, well, let's just leave July open for now, and we'll say,
Okay.
if anybody thinks of a good idea, let me know, and we'll talk about it further at the next meeting. But at least we have June taken care of with the
Right.
blacksmithing and the Van Wees.
And
So,
if I hear from him, soon and he has stuff, then, I would be happy to do it for July. But you better have a backup. I think we better have a backup.
okay, that sounds
Okay.
good.
Sure.
So the next thing is the Westlake Road walking tour. I think I sent everybody something about this QR code idea.
Mhm,
And
I like that.
Donna was nice enough to go out and investigate in Victor. So, and you want to report, Donna, on what it is? I did find out one other thing though, which is the person who did it is Babette Huber.
Oh, good.
Babette is the town
Oh,
historian
yeah.
for Victor, and I guess also for the village of Victor as well as the town of Victor. So I sent a note to her asking if she knew who did it, and she said it was me, and if I can do it, you guys can definitely do it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it sounds like she's willing to give us a hand, and but what for those of you that are not familiar with them, this QR code is a kind of a black and white pattern that you place somewhere on your site, either on a sign, on a building, on the door, just somewhere where you think people are going to see it. And then if you have a QR code reader in your smartphone, you just point the phone towards that QR code and it will start talking to you with the text, which is attached to that QR code, and possibly even pictures too. But I think from what Babette said, she hadn't put any pictures in. Is that
No,
right, Donna? Yeah.
it was strictly verbiage and no audio or music or anything like that, strictly verbiage. But I was able to take a picture of it on my iPad and then send it to me as an email. It came through as a text, and that's what I copy and pasted and sent to you, Sarah Linda. But
Right.
at the bottom of it, it says it's powered by qrstuff.com. So that's probably the website or whatever you can go on to start it up. But as Rich and I were talking, if we're going to have any private homes on our tour, then the QR code's not going to be good, because as you can see from the pictures I sent to you, Sarah Linda, you have to go right up to the place because they had the QR codes. I did the first for everybody. I did the First Methodist Church and the parsonage, and then the cemetery.
Mhm.
And am I echoing? I hear.
No,
No,
Okay, because
I don't.
I hear some funny noise in the background. But for the church, they have one step up and they have railing on either side, and it was on the inside of the railing. So you really have to go right up to whatever it is to, for the QR code. I walked around the whole Presbyterian church. I couldn't even find where that QR code was. But in the cemetery, they had it at the entrance to the cemetery. So it was easy to do, but I'm not sure how well it would work for a driving tour. And which is, it's hard to walk along Westlake Road for a lot of the places that we're intending to use it for.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking possibly we could make use of telephone poles, or, if there are utility poles right along the road, and there happens to be one right in front of the building, that would work out for somebody who's on a bicycle or walking, because they would notice it. But you're right, if you're driving.
They're
it's
electric
too easy to
poles,
miss.
by the way.
They're electric posts, excuse me.
well, Sarah Linda, my understanding is that, at least in New Jersey, in order to put anything on a telephone or electric pole, you needed to get, it's going to be a permanent
Permit.
thing. You have to get the permission of the company to do that.
Yep.
A lot of times, if there are adverts or, garage sale type things that are put on these things, the company will come along and tear them down because it impedes their access to the pole if they need to get up that.
Oh, that's true.
Well, I can tell you from experience that they do it less and less all the time. They don't have to climb very often because they
Fortunately-
have all the poles or the electric, what do you call them? They go this way.
Oh,
The shut-off?
right? The cherry pickers,
Anyhow,
bucket
they,
truck.
yeah, bucket trucks. They very rarely use the poles anymore, but it's good to check with them, make sure. It would be RG&E for all of our area
Uh-huh.
for the telephone or for electric, and telephone is RTC.
Yeah. Well, I think that since we're new to this business, it might make sense to try to develop the tour in several different formats at the same time so that we give people a choice, whether they want to do it through the QR code or whether they want to do it through something along the lines of a PowerPoint presentation that they could play on their phone, or they could play it on a desktop. So if they're in a car, they could be doing something that where they were getting it directly from the internet rather than through the QR code. Or maybe we should just leave the QR code out of this particular one and maybe keep that in mind as a possible platform for other sorts of things.
Well, most, at least the cell phones have a cellular capability to pick up internet. You know, they have that option. You can turn it on and off on your phone, so you don't have to necessarily have to have Wi-Fi available. So you can do this as long as you don't mind paying the charges on the cellular hookup. So we could still do it through the internet. They could get onto the internet through the cellular connection rather than through a Wi-Fi connection.
Right. Well, that's pretty much the way the one in Naples works. You know, you're on your smartphone, you go to the web, you just call up the thing and then you start it. And you just stop it as you're moving from one site to the next. You know, you just put it on pause, you go to the next place, then you start it again and you listen to the 30 seconds or whatever it is of description about that one, and then you stop it again and you move on to the next one. So
Well, I'm thinking if this was part of the, like it was a page on the town's website under the history team, they could access this through their cell phone, access the website through their cell phone. We wouldn't necessarily have to have a special carrier for this sort of thing. And that way they could scroll down on a page on our website and get the information they needed for a particular location.
oh, that's right. That could just have a list of
Yep.
like bullet points almost for the different sites, and then you click on one and the information about that and the images would come up.
Yeah, that link would then take you to a subpage for that particular venue.
Right. Right. So is there any advantage to using a QR code rather than that?
I don't think so. I mean, if it's all under the same thing, I mean, a QR code would be a website link too. A QR code could be anything that you want to assign to it. And some QR codes, if you would put it in there, it's going to cost money too. But if you, some of these QR codes you can get for free, and you can just design them, and you can, but other ones, if you want to be able to have that link operational, you're going to be going through their website in order to provide that link. Because I've used QR codes for the company I work for, and some of these we found out we had to pay for, so we we stopped using those and went to ones that we built for free.
Well, maybe this qrstuff.com is free. I haven't gone out to it. And if we wanted to use QR codes, if we wanted to tell people where all the cemeteries are, we could probably do a QR code for each of the town cemeteries and have that on the website too, you know, on the historian page.
Yeah, that's right. Because every cemetery does have a sign. So possibly the sign would be a place where we could mount the QR code. I mean, it looked as if the ones Babette had made were really just a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper with the QR code printed on it and then laminated or put into a plastic sleeve of some sort and tacked onto the
Yeah.
door of the building.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that
they-
could be just
they-
a link to the website on the town, which would work well.
Yeah, hers were in plastic. They were small QR codes with a symbol on it, maybe the town logo or crest or something. And then underneath it, it had some verbiage to use it. Well, I had sent you the picture, Sarah Linda.
Right.
You can use it on your smartphone or whatever. And then it just said it was courtesy of the Village of Victor town historian. So that's all it said. But maybe we wouldn't post it on our signs, but maybe on the posts of the signs.
Yeah.
For
The cemetery, oh, I'm sorry. The cemeteries are all listed on the town code, town
Website,
On the
yeah,
historian website,
website.
right. The
Okay,
the
yeah.
addresses are there and there's also a map.
the way it could work it is if people are on the website, then, we have links there. The link would automatically take you to a subpage which would detail the information on that particular venue. If they're at the cemetery, you could have the QR code there, they could read it, and that would provide a direct link to the subpage on our website. That way it makes it easy for either way. So they can access it either through the website or a direct link that's provided on the QR code. That way they don't have to type anything in if they're in the field. But if
Right.
they're already on the
QR code and read it. Well, that makes sense. I think, so what we would need to do is come up with a mounting system that, Ray, do you know if all the signs are the same? The cemetery signs? Or
No.
they're all different?
They're mostly different. Yeah, because at one time or the other, they were all owned by the individuals. And so everybody who wanted to put up a separate sign did so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even remember the one at Hun Cemetery. Is it on the fence or is it a freestanding sign or what? Or Academy for that matter.
Academy's got a big one on the sign, a separate sign. I can't.
I think Hunt Cemetery, wasn't there a sign on the angle at the corner?
Maybe. I know
No.
there's a historic marker plaque
There's a
about
marker.
Reverend Vatican Hun,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even in
There
Hun,
was, I don't believe we had a sign per se on the, geez, I should know. I've been there enough times. But I don't think we had a marker.
Well, Ray, I'll tell you what, are you gonna go and put the flags up for the veterans on Memorial Day or before Memorial Day? Is that,
I offered to help Sarah or and she's gone.
Yeah, it was freestanding. I think I taken down.
Who's talking?
I think Jim might have a sign down.
Is Leaf, are you talking?
it does. It sounds like someone has a radio on in the background.
Okay.
oh. Sounds like we're getting an echo.
Yeah, it's not me.
Well, anyway, I was going to suggest if anybody, any team member is involved in going to all of the cemeteries to install the flags for the summer, let's ask that that person take a picture of the sign while they're there, so that at least we have.
We
inventory
usually
of
go
it.
for Memorial Day, and
Well,
Leaf, have you heard anything about it? Leaf?
I haven't, Ray, and I was just gonna volunteer to go with you, put the flags up. I haven't heard anything.
Um, I had turned it over to the girls that's gone, Jared,
You mean Sam Pierce?
Sam. Yeah,
Sam,
I had turned it over to Sam, and obviously I haven't heard from her. Maybe Sarah knows.
Well, is there a new
I-
person?
I will ask tomorrow when I'm in the office, and you and I will coordinate, Ray. How's
Okay.
that?
All right.
'Cause I'd
Usually-
like to go to see all.
It
I'd like
usually
to see all
takes
those veterans
oh.
myself.
us two people to do all the stakes, and I usually get Keith Kevin Armstrong to help me with the one academy. He needs you need help, and we haven't done Pine Bank. That's done by the owners of Pine
Okay.
Bank. We don't own Pine Bank. We just mow the lawn.
Well, it seems like this is a good opportunity for Leaf to get out to all of the cemeteries and just to familiarize
would.
himself. So why don't, Leaf, do you have a camera? You could take pictures of the signs?
Certainly.
Okay, that would be great. Then at least we'll have something to work with, and we can see if we can figure out a common denominator and an inexpensive way to install QR codes, or otherwise let people know that they can get more information about this cemetery by visiting the town historian's website. So at least they get the write-ups that Ray has already done. He's already done a short write-up for each cemetery. And maybe we can elaborate on that a little further as we get more information and we have brochures and whatever.
Have you changed the name for Leaf?
Change what name?
The town historian's name?
You mean on the website, Ray?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good.
And Sarah, Linda, back to the signs for Hun, it could just be like a little laminated card, like a 5x8 or a 4x6 card even, and it could be stapled or whatever onto the fence there by the opening, in the corner.
Right,
That might be a good idea.
that could work. Yep,
Yeah.
you get it laminated.
So any
I would staple in at each entrance.
Mhm.
Certainly you could have one, or in that case, there are three corners you can approach from, so we could have it in all those places.
Yeah,
Mhm.
at least as long as they don't tear them down.
Well, if we get them on a stiff cardboard that's laminated and
Staple.
with some nice fat margins around them, and then staple them on in the margin to a piece of wood, they ought to last for a while. So
Leaf, you want to set up a date for us before you get out of here? For a date for us to go around and look at each one?
Yeah, we could do that, Ray. If you
Okay.
want to look at your calendar,
Yep. I
you
got it
tell me
right
what
here.
works for you and. yeah.
Okay. Or call me.
Leaf, could you let us know if you have regular office hours at town hall and what days those are?
They should be posted on the website. And I actually had them post them a couple of weeks ago. But I'm gonna tell all of you, just so you're aware, because apparently it's not getting around. So, Monday, 11:30 to 2:30. And then Wednesday and Thursday, the same. And I'm not gonna advertise anymore, but you'll know that I'm probably in there more.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Those are the public's hours. So obviously, if any of you needs me or wants to meet with me at town hall, that we can arrange that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and that should all be up on the website. I gave that to Sarah, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago now. Not, obviously, it's at the town hall, not Sarah Linda.
She's still
When you get
breaking
a
up.
chance, Sarah, I got a couple of things I want to share with, I'm sorry, what's that, Ray?
I asked if he's still breaking up, if you're still breaking up
Yeah,
for
you,
everyone.
yeah, you need to work on your audio there, Leaf. It's scrambled.
I'm not sure if you can hear me right now. I'm having router problems.
Okay.
So I have technical issues with the router.
Oh, it seems to be touch and go. Are you too far away from your mic?
No, I'm actually getting a message telling me that there's interruptions in service.
Oh, wow.
Yep, sorry. That is the case out here on Rozier Road. If the wind blows, I have interruptions in service.
All right.
You could go up and talk with Tim Riley about his problems. He's on Rossier Road too.
Well, I can go out on my balcony. I can do it with smoke signals, maybe.
Oh, boy.
All right. Well, while we're on cemeteries, Richard and Donna, any news on on your map?
No, I have been inundated with family projects. My daughter and her husband are doing some work at their house, and I have been drafted to assist on this construction stuff. So I'm over there quite a bit. So I haven't finished anything yet.
It's been like a full-time job for the last several weeks.
Yeah. Well, I understand that because I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm back to doing some consulting work. So I've done next to nothing on the things that I said I would do. One of which is the Ononda Park exhibit panels. Although I did send a note to Sarah Reynolds asking her to see if she could set up a meeting with the parks people and with Edith Davey so that we could, each decide who's doing what and try to coordinate the content on our panels, but that hasn't happened yet. And I think Edith is out of town. So anyway, well, I'll just keep on trying to make that happen, but we don't really have a deadline.
Sarah Linda,
Yes.
could you ask her to invite us, as many of us as we would like to come?
Oh, sure. Sure. That can be a Zoom meeting for everybody who would like to be involved. So I will contact Sarah about that again. And I should see Edith. I may see Edith Davey tomorrow if she's on the ECB meeting. So I can ask her then. So, okay, so I'm assuming the town hall map project has also gotten swamped by other things.
Yeah.
We have the Preserve New York. There is some progress on that. The grant application went in on time. So now we have a couple of months of waiting for them to review things. And if it's like last time around, we may hear in July, or it could be August or even September. So the only other thing on the agenda is the town's comprehensive plan. I think I sent out their latest revision, which is considered complete now by the staff people who wrote it. The next step is that it goes to the town board. The town board asks all the other town committees and boards and so on for any comments they might have. And then there's a public hearing held by the town. And then after all that happens, then the town, then it will be adopted by the town board, and that will be our new comprehensive plan. So anybody have any problems with the latest draft? I think we talked about it once before, and I tried to convey the comments to Eric Cooper, and he did incorporate some of them anyway. So it seems reasonable to me.
I
But-
just had a comment on the formatting on page 38. The bullets are not all lined up properly.
Uh,
The verbiage is fine on everything,
uh-huh.
but on page 38, the last 3 bullets are indented more than the top 4 bullets. So,
Okay, I'll pass that along. They should pay you to proofread. All right, well, any other business then? Leaf, did you say you have a couple of things you want to bring up?
Yes. So Richard, make a slashing motion if you lose my audio.
Okay,
So with regards to the, and I alluded to this in an email to Sarah Linda. There was a tenant house historically on the Arsenal property. And in 1840, okay, so I don't know how much of this you can hear.
I can
I'm
hear.
gonna try to tell you that nothing, huh, Richard?
Coming in bits and pieces.
Okay, so Richard can't hear, Sarah Linda can hear. I'm not sure who else. Okay, there was a tenant house on the Arsenal property. In 1840, it was moved to the Sackett homestead. That property probably still exists. And I'm working with Preston to identify that building.
It's just up the
If it
road.
does, then it is the last surviving piece of the Arsenal property. Sarah Linda, can you hear me?
I can hear you,
What's
yeah.
that, Ray? Yeah, they moved it up.
It's
to the
just
second
up the
farm.
road. It's just up
Okay,
the
so
road.
there's a little 2-story tenant building. Right. And Dave Sauter is gonna let us take a look at that possibly.
Okay,
And I've got more for you too, Ray, about the Arsenal property. But it would be something if that tenant house was the one that was on the Arsenal property. And imagine that'd be pretty exciting for Ray and Preston to go give that the, yep,
Mhm.
that's it.
okay.
Because that would be our connection to the Arsenal. There's also the possibility of installing plaque on the Arsenal property. Had you ever talked with anybody about that, Ray? An interpretive plaque?
It's in the city.
I'm guessing. Yeah,
It's in the
So-
city.
Dave Sauter has the property, right, Dave Sauter has the town property that accesses, I think, the cemetery, if I got it right. We have the access point and the city has the property. Is that
Really?
right, Ray? Does the town line kind of falls right there, doesn't it?
No,
No, is it all within the city?
no, it's split between the city and the town.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So David Sauter gave that access to the Cemetery Association. He deeded them some land that gave them both the Arsenal property and for the Cemetery Association. So
Really?
it's probably going to end up being kind of a county, city, town thing.
Well, actually, they
um,
were disconnected. The city, the city, the home was
Yep.
the stone building that's still there. That
Right.
was the second.
Yeah,
Arsenal Hill is completely separate. It's in
Right.
that's in the city, and there and the house was in the town.
right. But then
And there's
so the Arsenal property sits on within the city limits. But if I've got it right, the property that Dave Sauter gave to the Cemetery Association is in the town, and it borders the old Arsenal site.
really.
If that makes sense to
Not
everybody.
aware of it.
Am I-
We'll go look at it.
I will keep you posted. Anyhow, there's the possibility of erecting a plaque on the Arsenal property and creating some access to that property from the old property. But that's another thing.
We
And
get
I'm
better.
working with Jared.
We better talk
I'm
to
working with Lynn. But I don't want to go there yet because I don't know if I've got it all right yet. Right. I don't want to get Lynn excited and then say, no, this isn't going to
Right.
work. So
Well,
that's why
no.
I've kept it kind of down low.
it's just that we better talk to Lynn Paulson.
Right. That's what I
He's the-
said.
He's the
I
town.
want to.
He's the city. He's the city
Right.
historian.
Right.
Lee,
So,
I have one other comment, which is, there were multiple Sackett properties.
that's the Stone House.
The Stone House is
Stone
right
House.
up.
It's on the Stone House property, Sarah Linda. It's on
Well,
the George Sackett property or Charlie Sackett property.
Charles Sackett, right. Well, we think that could be, but there also are other farms. There also were other farms associated with the Sackett family. So
Right.
That's probably.
You know the distance it was taken? the-
yes,
the
that
information
probably that stone house is the right one. And
Yeah,
actually, there is a house immediately across
yeah. the
West
red
Avenue,
one.
right across, and that is in the position where a tenant farmer house could go. So are you thinking that that is the house that was originally on Arsenal Terrace?
Nope, not the little, you're thinking of that little gray house, Sarah Linda, that's across the road?
Across, right
I think-
across from the driveway of the the
I
stone
think
house.
that's the little gray house. No, the one that I'm thinking of, the one that we think it might be, that David said he felt it might be, is actually on the property of the Stone Sackett.
Okay, on the
house.
south side of 5 and 20.
Yep, if you were facing the house, if you were standing on 5 and 20, looking at the house, the tenant building is likely the one that's on the west or to your right at the rear of the property, the rear of the lawn.
Okay,
And that comes from the recollections of Thomas Howell in 1911. And that was in that file that Gil gave me.
okay. Yes, I remember reading that. And in case you're not aware, that Sackett Farm is one of the ones that is shown in an engraving in
Yeah.
the 1876
Yeah,
county history.
County history.
Right, it's
Yeah.
in there. So if that tenant house shows up in that picture and you can also match it up with what's remaining there, that would be a nice thing to feature.
Right, then we got back to 1876. Yeah.
Right.
For
So,
the,
now the other thing is, and I can't, there isn't too much detail on this. Jared and I are working with one of the builders on possible naming of using some historic names on an upcoming development. And I have suggested that we use names that are historically associated with the parcel in question. I don't want to say too much. We haven't got the developers.
Okay. You're breaking
So,
up again.
So I think what Lee's trying to say is, so I don't know if you saw my, I'll pause for a second. He's on like a 3-second tape delay.
But, it is my
Twilight Zone.
Do, 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 do.
All right.
This is why I have the kids just chat during class.
Yeah.
We don't use mics during class. They just send messages in the chat box. So I don't know if Leaf, you're hearing me, but we did get, so I sent an so I've received back emails from developer and then working with
I'm losing everybody here.
okay, and we're going to be working with their marketing person to try to develop local names and historical names for the development and any roads that might be incorporated.
I think we discussed that once before, maybe a year ago or more, and
Yes.
with a road that was going to be named that was down off of Wells Curtis Road. So we made some suggestions and they didn't follow up on them, but
Yeah,
we'll
so
go back and
That's
look at them
good.
again.
So I'm hoping because they were very interested in preserving the history and preserving that. So it'll be hopefully names that match with, that are local, not just local to the town, but local to that specific section of the town, which is our hope. And they were very amenable and put me right in touch with their marketing director.
So when the time comes that you can reveal the location of it, let us know.
Yeah.
We can see if we can come up with some connections and historic names.
Yep.
All right.
Sarah, Linda,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I've already done that research and submitted it to Jared for the parcels in question.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, then we don't have anything we have to do about that. Any other new business?
Not for me.
Sounds like a deafening silence. Well, why don't we go ahead and adjourn then? And if anybody has the time and wants to help move ahead on the Westlake Road tour, let me know, because there are a number of loose ends that need to be wrapped up before we can make it in final form. And then I'm inclined to just sort of go ahead with the low-tech versions that we can handle ourselves, and do it as a program that gets access through the town's website, or through the local history team website. We actually have one.
Okay, Sarah Linda, once the pages are set up on the town history website, if I can get the addresses for those, I can generate the QR codes that can be printed up. You know, because it's just a graphic, but so I can generate those graphics, but I need to have the link, the page on the town website, so I can create a link to put into that that QR code.
Okay, and meanwhile, I drive up and down Westlake Road a lot, so I'll keep an eye out for places that might make sense to try to mount one. So we'll go from there.
Yeah, because you can see, Sarah Linda, from the pictures that I sent to you, it'll give you an idea of where they were posted on those few places that I stopped. So,
Right.
and I can help like with the proofing and editing and whatever for the tour when you're at that point again.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you all for participating, and I'm glad we all managed to get on and
Yeah.
hear each other for the most part.
And good luck with your router there, Leaf.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's why we need to push our people to get Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Open up broadband access.
Well, I can tell you, I can see all of you a lot better as soon as I turn off my own video. I've got enough bandwidth apparently for audio, and that's it.
You must have,
but we can't see you.
No, I had to turn my camera off just so that I could get the video or the audio out.
yeah.
So if we can hear him, it's better to hear him than to see him then. No offense, Lee, but
Ooh,
Well taken, Donna.
ooh.
Oh, that's harsh.
Wind.
Yeah.
I can
No,
see the
we-
wind blowing outside my window, and that is why I have no video right now.
wow.
Yeah, it's that bad up here.
Who's your carrier?
You know what? I think it's Frontier right now. My wife is talking about switching over to Spectrum.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
Not so good.
Well, you have a lot higher band rate with Spectrum than you do as Frontier.
Maybe,
If you
maybe
can get
if
it.
works. If it works.
Well, I think my problem, Richard, is literally, all joking aside, we literally have winds hitting the lines,
That one.
which has been a problem for years.
Okay, have a good day.
I'll take it up with Jared.
Good luck.
All right. So our next meeting is on the 2nd of June. So talk to you all then.
Okay,
Okay,
take care.
okay.
2nd of June. Okay,
Bye.
Bye.
bye.